Go ahead.
Thank you. This is a good question. And we want to make sure that everybody understands this. And so I want to start by saying this is more than when I'm talking about recruiting on our app, and we're talking about the quick send tile, which sends out videos on customer, prospects or distributor prospects and so on and so forth. Yes, we want to do 5 things that lead to a sale, and this is a great tool to help you do that. But I want you to think about this also at another level. This is where my brain goes automatically. Imagine for a second we've got 10,000 people in the company. Okay? 10,000 people who are actively using this app. If we train everyone to do this and we train appropriately, lone rangers are alone. I want you to hear this again. Lone ranger marketers are alone. They'll be the only ones making money. And I know all of you've seen that before, right? But if we want everyone to make money and that creates power in the business and everyone's successful, then what happens is that this grows exponentially, $1 billion big. So what does it mean? 10,000 people in the company doing their 5 things. Remember 5 things that lead to a sale? Doesn't mean 5 sales, it means 5 things that lead to a sale. Imagine for a second those 10,000 people all sending 5 things out. Let's call it 5 text messages. You could be a mixture of things, 5 phone calls, 5 text messages, 5. Well, I'm just going to use it for text messages for this. Easy to understand. So there's literally out there 10,000 people times 5. Okay? That's one day's work. 50,000 text messages going out about Akana. One day. Let's say the average individual is working 4 days during the week for a few hours and doing their 5 things during those 4 days. Well, quick math can tell you that's 200,000 texts going out a week. A week. And math again can tell you that's 800,000 a month going out. How fast do you think Akana would grow if everyone took to heart how this business functions and works and did a very simple system that's very duplicable? Now, out of those 800,000, how many sales might we get? Well, let's just say something small. Let's say 800,000 went out and all we really got was 8,000 sales that month. Massive growth, exponential growth, explosive growth. So let's just take that down the road. Let's just say that duplication goes boink, 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 and after 6 months, wow, thing is exploding. We've gone from 10,000 to 20 and from 20 to 40 and so on and so forth. And let's say 6 months down the road, we're at 100,000 people. Now, by the way, if that seems unrealistic to you, it's not unrealistic to me. I'm not here to play games that way. I have come here because I know this will win, and I have never been wrong. Not once. This will not be the first time. I'm so right about this. It's scary. So let's just say we're there at 100,000. All right. So 100,000 people. And let's say that they're actively using the app and they're following the system. Okay. 100,000 people doing 5 things that lead to a sale in one day. That's 500,000 messages going out in one day. Whether it's emails or phone calls or text messages, I don't care. 500,000. Let's say that they work the 4 days a week. That's 2 million a week. Going out, not sales, but 2 million out there. How much of a buzz do you think there will be about Akana? 2 million a week. 8 million messages a month. What kind of a buzz do you think there is all of a sudden? 8 million a month. So let's take that way down. We're not at 80,000 anymore. We're not at 8,000 sales a month now. We're at 80,000 sales a month, even at a very small percentage of success. That gets serious real fast. Real fast. Where do you think your business will be in the midst of that? Well, that's up to you. You're part of that program or you're not. It's a simple thing. It's simple. Somebody said, "Well, I'm not sure if it works." Well, I don't mind telling you it does, but I can't prove it to you. You have to prove it to yourself. Okay, and we have to start where we have to start. This group right here. Let's just say there's 10 people on this line. There's more, but let's say there's 10 people on this line right now who are going to take this seriously and roll with it. Just 10 people. 10 people who do those 5 things that lead to a sale, use this app and do other things that lead to a sale during their work week, that they're going to work a little bit, okay, a couple hours during those 4 days, let's say. Send out 5 things and then pick 5 more people that are going to do on their next work day. You know the scoop. Now what? Well, those 10 people have just been responsible for 50 messages going out a day. That's 200 in a week. That's 800 in a month. That starts to roll. Keep it up. Don't stop. The only way that you can lose in this industry when you're in a good company like this one is to stop. And that doesn't necessarily mean quit. That means do nothing, because that is quitting. The truth for you all is this system works. These tools work. It's not about some magic sprinkle dust. It's not about going out and finding the heavy hitter. Do you know how many of those I've seen in the past 10 years? So many. If they're truly a heavy hitter, they've not left where they were. Okay. Otherwise, they're a heavy has been. Let's think through this thing. Let's start from where we are and create success and grow from here. 18 months, Akana with a system that duplicates can be $1 billion big. It just depends on our determination to move forward and how quickly we want to. You know what people's main problem with a system like this is? They don't believe it. Seems too easy. And so they don't do it. And so they never see it. I was flying in a private airplane. I think it was over Dallas, somewhere, because I remember the lights and the buildings and so on and so forth. And I was flying with a friend of mine, and he had his own plane and stuff like that. That's not to impress you, but that's to give you kind of the scenario. It was just a 6-seater, which frankly terrified me. But nevertheless, this thing had 6 seats in it. I was flying as, I know this is hard to believe, but I was flying as the co-pilot. I was literally sitting in the co-pilot seat, which made me even more terrified. But I asked my friend who was sitting behind me. We had a pilot, a real pilot, and I was asking my friend who was sitting kind of behind me at an angle, who was just amazing networker. He's in heaven now. And I said to him at the time, I was like, buddy, do you think if I had to boil your success down, I was just a young guy. So if I had to boil your success down, what would you say is the number one reason you're as successful as you are? He said, I work consistent hours and I work in a way that I feel like everyone else can copy. I said, explain that. He said, I work 2 hours a day, 4 days a week. I was like, no way. He said, come stay with me. So I went to his house. I wasn't going to pass that opportunity up for any reason. So I went to his house and we went through a week of his work. Sure enough, 2 hours is all he would do. And the rest of the day, we had fun. We talked to people. We did trainings and stuff like this. Sure. But the fact is that his actual recruiting work was 2 hours a day, Monday through Thursday. Now I've adopted that. Many of you know me. I work 3 hours a day. I'm not quite as fast as he was. He was like that. I'm moving a little less of a pace. So I got a 3 hour work day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I I I know the struggle. I felt like, oh, there's no way this is going to work. La, la, la. I only became a believer after I worked for about a month, and I was like, whoa. I only became a believer after I saw my organization go from practically nothing to 25,000 people in 3 months. I only became a believer when I realized that the reason wasn't because I was so great at network marketing. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm a very successful entrepreneur. Okay, I'm a very successful network marketer, number one earner in many companies. Did what I did, but it's not because I'm a great network marketer. Not at all. There's no such thing. Anybody that tells you that, they're lying to you. It's You're a great teacher, is what you are, because you can teach people how to do this, and it's not hard. Network marketing was born so that the average person could have a life and a lifestyle and a business that they could actually do without spending hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars trying to get into a franchise or some other business model. Network marketing was created so the average person could own their business, and through consistent work and teaching others how to do the same thing, they could achieve great heights. I'm of that ilk. That's why I will never teach you something outside of a master class. I'd be glad to in a master class because, man, I've learned thousands and thousands of techniques. But to teach that to your new people coming in, you might as well get some kid coming into kindergarten or first grade and tell them to read the Bible from cover to cover by this time tomorrow. It's When you give someone an impossible task, they just don't do it. Or they try to do it and they get so frustrated they quit. And that's why the attrition in the industry is as high as it is. People falling out of the industry because they came in with a dream, they came in with a heart, they came in with a desire, and then they were like, "Well, I can't do it." Or it's a lie. In fact, I've seen that in education. Kids start failing because they stop believing that they can do it. And they start believing that it's just a lie. It's just a joke. And that's the way this business is. This is not a lie nor a joke. This is accomplishable. You can do this. You can do this. Let me say it one last time and you hear it loud and clear. You can do this and be successful at it. Be consistent and don't do a workload. I had somebody tell me the other day, I said, how much do you work? Oh, no, wow, I'll tell you. I mean, I'm at this 60, 70 hours a week. I was like, and how many people do you think you're going to bring in the business who can put 60 to 70 hours a week into this? Well, I'll tell you that much, not many. I was like, exactly. Can we have some common sense? Let's make a system. Let's create a system and let's back it up with tools that everyone can do 2 or 3 hours a day, 3 or 4 days a week. You pick them. They don't have to even be consistent. They don't have to. You don't have to do 3 hours in a row. Do one in the morning, two in the evening. I don't care. Now I got to do mine as best I can all in a row. Doesn't always work out that way, but I got to do mine as best I can all in a row because I'm a little scattered. When I sit down, I'm trying to get it done. Otherwise, my day's crazy. It's important to me that you hear this. So, really comes down to this. Do you believe it? And there's only one way to prove this to yourself. Do it. Train your team to do it. I've done all the convincing I can do. From here, it's just about reality. Reality says that if I do something that everyone else can do and I teach them to do it and they actually do it, or a portion of them do it, then my success will equal this. That's why you hear me say this mantra all the time, which I live by: system plus spirit equals success. A proper system, given the spirit of your activity, your commitment, you're engaging in it, the result is always success. Because any system, success will equal what it was developed to do, bringing in a few people. Notice I said a few people. Yeah, but I want to sponsor 30 or 40. Well, sure, I get it. I sponsored 3,500 once on my front line. Okay. I get wanting to be that person who sponsors everybody under the sun and so on and so forth. But you know what? Nobody on my team could duplicate that. I made money, but my people did not. I don't count that as a success at all. So, how do we do this? Well, we simply move forward. This will create great downlines. This will create moving downlines. Do you know how exciting it is? Maybe some of you do. Do you know how exciting it is when you log into your back office and it $2,000, $3,000 more than it was yesterday? Commissions, $200, $300 more than it was yesterday. Do you know how exciting that is when you click in your back office, click on commissions, and boom, that number went up since last time you looked at it 24 hours ago? Seem impossible? Not at all. But it starts with duplication. Starts with two. That's it. Now that's all I have to say about the subject matter. This Q&A is stretching out a little bit, but I'm glad to answer those questions. Okay. And we'll be putting a training up and we'll be putting the answers to some of these questions on there. Any other questions for me? I'm glad to answer them.
Yeah, Scott,
Yes, sir.
how do you keep track of the people that you've contacted previously?
What's that?
How do you keep track of the people you contacted? So if you contacted 5 people, how do you keep not repeating contacting the same 5 or whatever?
Oh, I only go back to the previous people that I've contacted. Good question. I only go back to the previous people that I've contacted as a follow up. And sometimes I'll even say something like this. Look, since the last time I talked to you, I've learned a lot, and I'm excited to share that with you. I'd be interested in inviting you to a call, or I'd be interested in talking to you a little bit more about this, or whatever you think. But don't be afraid to admit, hey, when I contacted you before, I knew a lot about this, but I didn't know as much as I do now, and I'm excited. I want to reintroduce this to you. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to admit, hey, I'm learning more, and this is exciting. Come up with an exciting piece of it. Like, hey, we're going to launch internationally in 2024, and we're starting to pick those countries and kind of work that out now and look forward to those things. And I want you to be a part of it with me. Pick something out you're really, hey, we've got this new app I want to share with you. It helps us do our marketing and so on and so forth. And it's very exciting. And for me personally, that's the way that many of you will probably do international marketing, is on that app, because we'll have leads inside of that app specific to certain countries, and you can start to send some of that out. That's a tough road. It's harder than people you already know, but it's still things that lead to a sale, and it's still visibility for the company and so on and so forth. But I hope that answers your question. Do it in the form of kind of a follow-up with them, and even be excited about some new thing that's happened and introduce them to that.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other
Thank
questions out
you.
there? Oh, you're so welcome. I appreciate all of you more than you know. Look, this is not hard. You can do this. You and your team can do this. Get them serious and get them on one of these trainings like this, so that we can drill this, because this takes a minute, especially if they've lost their belief. We got to go back to basics. We got to break it down. Go back to basics and break it down. This is not magic. This is simple duplication through a doable system that leads to success. That's all it is. They look across that river and it's a half a mile wide, and they look over there and they go, "Oh, there's no way I'm going to the, just the stream is moving," and all that. And then somebody comes along and says, "Well, look, I know it's hard, but I did it once and I survived, so you do it." That's about the instruction they get today in network marketing. But I'm telling you, it's easier to walk them down the way just a little bit and say, "Hey, here's a bridge that goes across. Let's go. Let's just walk across this bridge, or these are stepping stones. Let's step on this one and then the next one, and let's guide these. Let's guide our friends, family, our people, our leads, our prospects. Let's guide them. It's not as hard as it seems. It's a journey, but it's consistency. It's ongoing. And we celebrate every sale, because that sale came through a system that you're now going to teach them. You're not just making sales, you're building a sales army. And if they come through the system that you then teach them, you'll say, hey, this is the way I got you in the business. It's not hard. You just walk them through that. Now, let me tell you guys this. When I say it's not hard, that may draw some, oh, yeah, easy for you to say. No. I know hard. I know what difficult is. I'm a pastor. I've seen difficult. I've counseled difficult. This is just a little business that we're going to turn into a big business. That's not hard. That's fun if you look at it that way. I count it as fun. A couple hours? Come on. It takes me longer than that to go out here in the garden and mess around trying to grow stuff. So spend a little time growing your business and helping a lot of people succeed. You'll be thankful. You know what my greatest joy is in business? In business, my greatest joy is to watch people go up on the stage that are in my team. I'm like, yeah, because they came in with a dream and it's being born before your very eyes for them and their family. You love helping people, you're in the right place. And by helping them, you'll help yourself. That's the way we do it. Any other questions before we go?
Hey, Scott, I got one.
Sure.
What is the terminology or the language you would use to help somebody get over the concept of, I don't like to sell?
Well, this isn't really, I hate to say this out loud, but what I'm about to say is probably a little controversial. But I've been doing this a long time, right? Many decades. The fact is that we are in the sales business, but we're not sales people. We're delivery people. I didn't sell anybody anything by using this app. All I did was deliver something. Think about it like this, like a newspaper boy. A newspaper boy comes to the house, he chucks the newspaper over on the porch. I guess that's a little old fashioned, but nevertheless, he chucks the newspaper over on the porch and that's what he does. Is he a newspaper salesperson? No. Is he in the newspaper business? Yes. Yes, he's in the newspaper business, but he's not a newspaper salesperson. He is literally just delivering it. We have the messages, we have the videos, we have the stuff and growing. We're working on tools all the time. It's our job just to deliver this information until somebody has enough information to say, man, I like this business, I want in. And then the sale occurs based on their belief because you gave them information. I told people before, and you may have heard this term, I avoid IOF. IOF is ignorance on fire. People get into this business and they just blabber themselves to death out of a sale. And it's just, I get excitement and passion, but be passionate, but let the actual information do the talking for you. And then you're not selling anything. I call it not selling, but telling. Hey, take a look at this. It's a great business. All I'm telling them is it's great business. I'm letting the video do all the talking for me. Hey, can you come to this party with me? I'm letting somebody else do the talking for me. Even if I'm a great presenter, I avoid presenting because I want somebody else to do it because they're my guest. I'm taking them to the movies, so to speak, and I want them to hear it. I want them to see it. I want them to experience it. So be a delivery person. Think of it like that. Hope that helps.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you. Any other questions at all? Love hanging out with you guys. It's okay. Lovely. I so appreciate the time that we spent together today. I hope you've learned something from it. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I highly encourage you start using the app now. Test it out. See what happens. Here's the lingering thought in your mind. Training for next week. Be ready. Okay. Here's the lingering thought in your mind. Yeah, kind of run out of people to talk to. I've talked to everybody I can talk to. I'm scared to talk to the ones I haven't talked to because they hate this stuff anyway. What can I do? I've got an answer for that. Okay? It's okay. I promise it's okay. Many of us have that same thought in our head at one time or another in our life in this business. I don't feel like there's anybody I can go back to now. They've all said no, or the ones I did get in, they've quit. They got disgruntled. They haven't made any money. I don't have anybody. I've gone through everybody in my phone list. The ones I haven't gone through, I'd be scared to even talk to them because I'm not even sure I want to deal with them. And the list goes on. Next week, I'm going to address all of that. I'm going to show you how to go through it. I'm going to show you how to overcome it. And I'm going to show you how you yourself can start a whole new thing as if you're starting on day one. And guess what? You don't have to touch a single one of those people if you don't want to. Okay? But that's next week for as many of you that can make it to the phone. Okay? I don't care if it's this group right here. Be great, because now you got a foundational principle to build on. If you bring guests, make sure they understand by watching our previous training video. I'm going to ask Dr. Ross maybe to put that up. So that, the first video that we took today, so that they'll understand the app and kind of where we're headed here, any pieces and parts of this. But I would like you to hear this. This is not an impossibility. It's a probability. It's mathematically, statistically doable. This isn't something that, I'm just saying. I would not tell you if I did not know it. And the facts are simple. 2 + 2 has always equaled 4, no matter what anyone will tell you. So many hours of work will equal so many hours of contacts and success, no matter what anyone will tell you. Now, it fluctuates depending on the season, depending on what's going on. But proper delivery of good information will always equal, in the end, interest, trust, and sales. You gauge your own. How much do you want to? How many hours do you want to put in? And don't go crazy, because remember, the key principle is, can everyone I bring in do exactly what I'm doing? The working mom who's got 2 jobs and 4 kids, can she do this? Can she do this? You got to make sure that your mind goes to the people that you'll be bringing in. Not everybody has 10 hours a day. Handful of days, handful of hours. There's your go place. Next week, next Saturday, I'll be driving down on the principles of what do I do now? If you feel like you've burned your bridges and you know what they call the NFL, right? Not the National Football League. It's called No Friends Left. That's what they call the network marketing people who burned through it all. No friends left. Well, I got tons of friends, you included. It's doable. It's doable. Let's make a happy family by making it doable, right? And we'll talk about that principle next week. Man, I appreciate you guys. Dr. Roz, everyone's on here. Thank you. Thank you for your amazing questions. Wow. You're mind-blowing. I cannot tell you the number of calls I get on with this many people. No one says a word. And I'm like, was I on mute? I think I was on mute the whole time because I'm not sure anybody heard me. I'm so thankful for you. Thanks for your input. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for your consideration. We're going to do this thing. God bless you all. Okay? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Now,
Happy New Year,
Scott.
everybody.
yeah.
Happy New Year,
Everybody take
Sam.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year,
Happy New
everybody.
Year. Happy New
Happy
Year.
New
New
Year.
Year.
Have a
Happy New Year.
Kwanzaa. The best
Happy
thing
New
God
Year.
got for you. There's more in store for us in 2024.
Yes,
Amen.
amen.
Store for us
That's
in
what that's what
2024.
trichologists, our Miss Doris Mosley, her words.
Right on. Let's do
Happy
this thing.
Kwanzaa.
Amen.
I got you.
Let's
Happy
make it happen.
Kwanzaa. Happy New
Happy
Year.
Have a beautiful day.
Back
All right.
at you.
You too.